Dear Mr. Regular, I'm a high school student / college student, and I'd like to get into cars. What type of car should I get? And Miata is always the answer, true. But if you lived in Northeast and you need a car that's going to be your daily and also an enthusiast car and a car that introduces you to the idea of enthusiast driving, behold the EH2.
Honda could have made a real cheap one-piece hatch, but they didn't do that because it got my back.
1995 Honda Civic VX Hatch EH2. This little car is damn near perfect. If this were a song, it would be the acoustic version of Blind Melon's No Rain. It's not that fast, but it's easier to build than a pile of Legos. It's small, but modular. It's still cheap, but incredibly well made and sought after. Before I keep going, look right at the rear hatch. Honda could have built a cheap one-piece hatch that lifts up, kind of like on a Honda Fit, but they didn't. They built a clamshell, a two-piece. This is the kind of stuff that Land Rover is praised for doing today, and Honda was doing it in the mid-90s on an economy car. Look, a piece of glass lifts up from the top, and the tailgate lowers. Think of how much money this cost to design it reliably. The EH hatch doesn't make much torque, but it's fun to wring out. Think of it this way. If the EF hatch was Nirvana's Nevermind, then the EH hatch is the Foo Fighters' self-titled debut album. This isn't the riff heard round the world, but the heart and passion is now mixed with maturity. And now it has more sex moves than just stick your dick in and boob suck. This is the VX trim level, the fuel-efficient version of the base model, which I didn't even know existed until today. The VX trim level is the same on the inside as the base model, but the engines are different. This is the D15Z1. It's a 1.5-liter engine making 92 horsepower, and it gets, get this, 48 miles per gallon city, 55 miles per gallon highway. No Prius could do this. If Honda or any manufacturer managed to make a straight gasoline-powered car and it made 55 miles per gallon highway, they would never shut up about it. It'd be on the cover of every single magazine. There'd be tons of videos about it. There'd be all this stuff at car shows. But this was standard fare for the 90s. And this is a car that'll go 100 miles an hour and it gets 55 miles per gallon. And there's nothing special about it. You cannot make a car this efficient today because a car is so gosh darn light. Safety regulations would never let you build a car this light anymore, so we can never have this kind of mileage anymore with this simple, tiny little engine that revs and is fun. This is why this car is perfect as your introductory, if you're not going to get a Miata, as your introductory car. This engine still has variable valves, but it's not the aggressive cam profile changes, the traditional VTEC that everybody loves. Honda called this fuel-efficient version of that engine the VTEC E. It behaves like Toyota's VVTi engine. The changeover is smoothed out and better suited to non-enthusiasts. But that's why France was able to find an unmodified base model EH2 hatch, because this is beyond base. This is below base. This is a gently used sub-100,000 mile grocery getter. I mean, sure, there's some rust on the tailgate, but it's not structural. The seats aren't original, but they are from a different Civic, so they look period correct. And oh yeah, also, another thing why this car can get 50 miles per gallon highway is the engine itself is unladen with accessories. There is none. This car doesn't have power steering. This car doesn't have air conditioning. That means the only other thing the engine is asked to do, besides move the car, is run the alternator and run the water pump. Oh, also, there's no power windows. The steering wheel doesn't adjust. And look at this tiny little radiator. It's a single core aluminum radiator. It's the size and thickness of a McCain Elio's pizza. The steering wheel is in the wrong place, deal with it. Too hot in the summer, deal. Too hard to turn the wheel, deal with it. Do more curls. Oh, this thing drives so good. Yes, it rattles and buzzes and everything, but the buzzes are muted by happy memories. Happy 90s memories. This is the simplest car you can buy today that's still modern. I mean, the only thing that's old school about it is it still uses a distributor instead of coil packs, but that's it. It's still port fuel injection. although it is OBD1 instead of OBD2. There's tons and tons of forums that tell you how to repair Civics, but it's not going to jar you loose because these are the original wheels, and yeah, for some reason there's alloys on here. Maybe they came from a different Civic because I don't think a base model would have come with the more expensive wheels, so these are probably something from some other Civic that were put on here, but they're the correct size. Look how much sidewall there is there. That means when you hit a big bump or a big pothole throughout the Allentown area, no problem. You're not going to bend your wheel. They're narrow tires, but that's good because if you're learning car control, this car will start to break loose at lower speeds and allow you to experience a car handling beyond its limits in a safe, constructive manner. But you'll be having fun the entire time, and you can take this to Cars and Coffee, and people will crowd around and say, wow, a 1995 original unmodified Honda Civic EH Hatch. Some of us know the 1995 Honda Civics as the car that got its taillights blown off in the first Fast and the Furious movie. And car guys have been trying to find a girl who can drive a Civic as well as Letty ever since. Of course, you're probably not going to be pulling a Dominic Toretto in this one. The Civic EJ1s in the movie had Vader-style body kits and VIS Racing Bomber GT body kits with B-Series 1.8 VTEC engines and T66 turbo with nitrous kits. And this has none of that. It's not even an EJ. And in another 4 years, this will be a classic car. Holy living shit. This will be a classic car in 4 years. Well, I can kind of see how it is. There's no infotainment. There's no driver assists anything. There's no creature comforts. I mean, the seat will recline and move forward and back. That's it. It's got a radio. I'll bet a car like this, I'll bet an EH Hatch is closer to what we consider a classic car than a modern car these days. This is disgustingly simple. And we just drove these in the 90s. Well, I didn't. 1995 was 8th grade for me and 5th grade for the Roman. Remember when the letters THC referenced a quality girl band and even a better network? Now all the shows are about being 600 pounds and going to the emergency room to get your pussy pulled inside out like a wet ski glove. The man with no penis. Too big to transition. Sex sent me to the ER. I didn't know I was pregnant. The man with the 132-pound scrotum. Oh, man, in 4 more years, Jerry Garcia will have been dead for a quarter of a century. Children born from the first relationships off Match.com will no longer be able to stay on their parents' health plan. Windows 95, Pogs, Comic Zone on Sega Channel, Gangster's Paradise, Waterworld. Oh man, remember when Jenny McCarthy was hot and we didn't care whether she was sane or not? Why are we so old now? Why does time have to keep moving? It just keeps happening somehow. The years add up and suddenly you're having to explain to your grandparents that you're not unemployed, you're just home all day because you work for this thing called YouTube where people can watch you talk about farts in lieu of watching whatever people watch on TV these days. I mean, I'm not saying 1995 was some sort of golden year or anything. Superman got paralyzed by a horse and a bunch of people got killed in heat waves and earthquakes. But 1995 sat in this perfect cross-section between modern life and traditional life. We had the internet, but it didn't exist on our phones. We didn't even have smartphones. We had lives outside of technology. We had TV, but we didn't binge it. We drove our cars instead of letting them drive us. We knew how to drive stick, and if you wanted to tune your car, you had to know a guy. People made their own intakes. We made our own exhausts. We made our own way. People tuned their cars by knock, and they learned by trial and error, because there was no tutorials online to help us. And that's how memories used to be made. Memories are just failures we look back on with fondness because enough time has passed. But the EH Hatch is a memory that still exists. It's always 1995 in here. Inside this car is a place where you called the radio station to request a song, and you got nervous when you called in. Or maybe it's 2001 inside this car, because this was the first car you bought with your own money. The EH Hatch, to many of us, represented unrestricted freedom with the outside world. This was a car that we owned. It didn't matter that it had no air conditioning. We controlled this car. We decided where we were going to go. There was no bargaining and asking for rides anymore. We had our own ride. It didn't matter that it had no clicker, no remote. You'd reach over, Lock the passenger door, get out of your side, lock the driver's door, and start walking away and walk into the Lehigh Valley Mall, but not before looking back 3 times just to admire your car further and further away as it sat in that parking space. It was your car. The experiences we really remember best are typically the experiences where something goes wrong. Sure, you had a great time in Italy. You got a lot of likes on Instagram for that picture where you hold the Leaning Tower of Pisa up in your hand. But what you really remember is that time you drove your EH to New York City and you got your car towed, and you spent 7 hours trying to get it out of the impound lot. And while you were waiting, you found this comfy little deli where they bake their own bread and cure their own ham. And then you head right back as a Broadway show is letting out. And you see Jason Alexander coming out to sign autographs, and you get him to sign your receipt, even though you didn't see the show. I'm not saying these types of things don't happen today, but if they happen now, you would just pull up an app on your phone to find the nearest restaurant. You wouldn't explore on your own. You wouldn't get lost in an EH Hatch with nothing but a paper map to guide your way. And the map is old and maybe new roads have been built, and you have to take that into account, and you get lost and double back, but you find your way home. Today we spend less time experiencing memories and more time editing them. What we show people online is carefully vetted, whether we realize it or not. But the EH Hatch is a raw experience that exists without editing. It's not the build video where you never see the wrench slip off the nut, or you never see them lose their 10mm socket. And to be fair, people really don't want to see those things. Our reality now is streamlined for better or worse. But the EH Hatch isn't. It's a reminder that reality is a collection of imperfections we just sort of deal with. And that's okay.
I don't wanna curate my memories. I wanna get lost on our way. You know I wanna make my feet tired today. If my muscles ache, then my day is made.